Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Manager 2017, the start of the new season 23-24. Now we've already gone through a few friendlies. If we just have a look, we've won them pretty easily. 10 goals scored, non-conceded, 3 victories. We've got 3 more to go about against slightly harder opposition, but I'd still expect us to come through quite comfortably, keep the morale high, ready for the Community Shield match against Manchester United. Now the first thing you might see is that we're no longer in the Champions League. We're in the Europa League Group stage, and that has happened because West Ham, the absolute, they went and won the UEFA Cup, Europa League, whatever you want to call it, which means that they knocked us out of the top 4 positions. The 4th place position was assigned to West Ham instead of us, which means that we lost out. Despite all the hard work we put in to get into the top 4, West Ham went and robbed us of it right at the end. So we're playing in the Europa League group stage. Not ideal, but still it's a chance to win the competition, maybe give us a European bit of silverware. And we can just focus on the league this season without worrying about our European performances too much. So that's kind of the setup. Today we'll just go through these friendlies. We'll take on Manchester United in the Community Shield, and the next episode we'll kick off the league season. But the main things to talk about are actually our transfers. I've been able to do a lot more business than I thought I'd be able to. You might remember the board only gave us about £17 million as a transfer budget, but by shifting some key players on, I've managed to bring in quite a lot of money without, hopefully damaging the team too much. Now, my shift now is entirely towards young, good players. So all of these players are under the age of 23 or 24. But you'll see that quite a lot of players have gone out. So Callum Slattery has gone for up to £6 million. He just wasn't likely to break into the team. He was a bit of a punt, and we lost quite a bit of money on him. Aaron Smith is a player who came through our youth academy, so sad to let him go, but he was never going to get in the first team, realistically. We got a couple of million for him from QPR. Z Gomez is the big one. I never really wanted him to leave, but he was getting really uppity and wanted to leave. So we let him go. He's gone to West Ham of all teams, which is quite frustrating, but they came in with a bid that I was able to negotiate up to around 25 to £33.5 million. It's not ideal. He's worth a lot more money than that, and the game reflects that. His immediate transfer fee is now £39 million. I think he's going to be dangerous for West Ham this season. We also managed to shift Raheem Sterling to Southampton for £5 million. He was on 200 grand a week, so I'm glad he's off our wage budget. Joaquin Correa is the other one. I now no longer need to worry about how I pronounce his name. He is off the team. He was 28 years old, and I just thought when the bid came in for up to £30 million, I kind of had to accept it. We only signed him for 11.75, so he's gone now. Shea Ojo was another punt. He never really worked out. We let him go. So those are the out sort of players. We've got 57 million, but that could rise by another sort of 10-15 million pounds with add-ons. And the players we've brought in, the first one is a Merrick Muller from Saint Etienne. He's a goalkeeper. He's going to be back up to Matthew Ketchel. He's a very good goalkeeper with a lot of potential. And I think that just having a bit of competition for Ketchel will really help Ketchel develop. And hopefully Muller can really push him and see about getting in the first team. I'd expect to at least make a profit on that transfer if he doesn't break into the first team. Roberto Albini is a good central defender. He's still only 21. He's got time to develop, but he'll fit in quite well because we aren't exactly swamped with great players in defence. So Mamana, Almanza and Lucas will still be the main 3, but Albini will come in and he has got all the potential in the world to develop. Johan Roning is now our club record signing. The assistant manager doesn't rate his current ability, but I do. I think he's got a lot of potential to go on and replace Kovacic in the long term. He's already our 3rd best central midfielder alongside Cook and Malagoni. So he will just round out that central midfield and give us a lot of ability. He never really got any game time for Chelsea, which is why I was able to sign him. They originally wanted something like 60-70 million for him, but I think he got unhappy and we managed to swoop in and take him. Luke Burden is a bit of a punt. He can play anywhere across the back, which is the main reason I signed him. He will just be a versatility option. Matthew Taylor, similarly in central midfield, just a little punt. We'll see if he can step in if there's an injury crisis. Neither of them cost much money. £6 million for both of them isn't bad. Then we've got Kostanski, I think is his name. He's going to be fun to try and pronounce. He's another striker. He's been brought in to replace C. Gomez. He's got a decent current ability, great stats for a complete forward and could develop into a very good player, just like C. Gomez could have. He's had a bit of a difficult time going out on loan to a lot of clubs, but he still had a reasonably good goal scoring record, but never got into the Arsenal team. So we were able to take him quite cheaply, given how much strikers are going for it in this game. And the last one is Fava, who we've brought in to replace Sterling and Correa. He's going to play on the left flank. I think he's got more potential ability than my assistant thinks he has. Certainly my scout believes he does. And I think once he's had some game time, he'll actually do quite well. Origi's still going to be our first choice left winger, but Fava will be the support to him. Worth noting, I also rejected a £50 million bid from Spurs for Scott Orr, of all people. Now, Scott Orr really hasn't got in the team, but he is Sané's understudy. And he does have a very good potential ability, and I think he will develop into a very, very good player. The trouble at the moment is he can't play as an inside forward, so it's about developing him into that role so that he can get into the first team. But this is his squad, and I'd say it's a pretty strong squad, and so long as we can hold on to everybody and qualify for the Champions League at least this season, certainly next season we will be possibly the strongest team in the league, with Simonsen leading the line. We've got a good goalkeeper, very solid defensive unit. We could do with strengthening the full-back positions, but there's not really any good options in the market, so Rahman and Chambers will continue for another year. And then in midfield, we are exceptionally strong with Rabiot, Melagoni, Cook, even Sergi Samper in there as defensive midfielder, Kovacic, now Roning in there. We're just very, very strong. And on the wing, Sané, Origi and Simonsen up top. We are going to be quite difficult to stop this season, I think. So let's get through these pre-season friendlies. We'll get to that Manchester United Community Shield game. We'll play that game, and that will be the end of this first episode. So I'll see you in a minute. We are now through pre-season and ready to play the game against Manchester United at Wembley. We did win all of our pre-season friendlies quite comprehensively, so no signs of concern there at all. No extra transfers either. We didn't bring anybody in. We did reject a £63 million bid for Kovacic. I've got no interest in letting him go at the moment, not until somebody else proves they're good enough to replace him in midfield. The only other player to go is Alexander-Arnold for £4.1 million and made quite a big loss on him, but I just wanted him off the books. So he's now gone. And we're kind of ready now. I will just quickly explain, because I think some of you might have questions after I highlighted it last time. If we go and have a look at the Premier League and how it finished last season, the reason that we missed out on the Champions League wasn't just West Ham winning the Europa League, it was 12th place Spurs winning the Champions League that completely threw us. Normally, if only one of those events happens, you can still have 5 teams in the Champions League, but there's no way that you can have 6 teams in the Champions League from one nation. So we were the ones that were bumped because those two have supremacy over us. It's really annoying when that happens. I've not seen that situation happen before, and we're incredibly unlucky to have that happen since the new rules around the Europa League came in. It's really frustrating that Tottenham finished 12th and they're still going to the Champions League. But those are the rules. We need to remember that in future and make sure we finish in the top 3, not the top 4. Realistically, we should be going after the title. So that's the new goal. For the first match of the season, we've got a pretty strong team going out there. There's a few players not entirely fit after pre-season, which is a bit frustrating, but there's not a lot you can do about that. So for the game, we've got Simonsen, Origi and Sané. Our front 3 are all there. Rabiot and Cook are joined by Matthew Taylor making his debut, the player we brought in from Spurs. We've got Lucas playing at left back, which means Albini can play in the centre alongside Mamana for his debut. And then Chambers at right back. Matthew Ketchell gets a nod ahead of Muller in goal. Simonsen's free kick goes for goal and it's hit the base of the post. Origi has hit that straight against the goalkeeper. Free kick for Simonsen, and this one has gone in. No need for Origi to follow up. He's found the bottom corner and got off the mark in his first game of the season. Gelson can't quite get the ball over, but it's fallen for Baker, who smashes that into the top corner. That was a stunning finish. Baker already scored one, gives the ball away to Chambers. Now Rabiot can launch an attack. He's got Origi to his left, who's fouled by Danilo, and I think that's going to be a red card for Danilo. There it is, a red card for Danilo, and we'll be playing 10 men for the last 20 minutes. Well, we've not managed to break them down, which means we'll be going to a penalty shootout. Not exactly what I would have wanted at the start of this game, but we've got a few good penalty takers on the pitch. I'm hoping that they'll be able to turn this through for us and get us our 5th piece of silverware since taking over the club. Romero first up, and it's saved by Ketchel. Divock Origi. Oh, it's just pushed onto the post and out as well. Fosu Mensah does score. That was a poor penalty, and Ketchel maybe could have saved it. Simonson, clinical normally, and he's clinical again. Baker scored the equaliser and scores a penalty. Kostansky making his debut, and he scores. Ward-Prowse, and it's straight at Ketchel. I've never seen a goalkeeper catch a penalty like that. Sergi Samper, oh, it's saved as well. Gomez looking to potentially win it, and he does find that bottom corner. Romano has to score to keep us in it, and he does, into that bottom corner. It's going to be John for United, and he's found the corner as well. Lewis Cook has to score, and he's hit the crossbar. We've lost the Community Shield on penalties. That's really undeserved. We were much the better team in that game. I can't be too unhappy at the players. They played very well, but we haven't won the competition. That's a little bit disappointing. But it does mean that we can look forward to next episode knowing that we actually matched Manchester United in the first game of this season rather than getting really outplayed by them. I'm confident about our league and competition chances this season. I want some more silverware, but I also want to have a title challenge. That is always the goal now. Until we win that Premier League title, we've got to keep going for it. The Europa League, I've not made my mind up. I think I would like to win it. We did lose in the final a few years ago. It'd be nice to actually get some revenge by winning that. But it's going to be difficult because there's so many games in the Europa League. 2 more games than in the Champions League. So we'll just have to see how we progress in other competitions, what's going on at the time as we make our decisions. But I think that we can have a very good title challenge this season. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see how that challenge gets on. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. But until next time, see ya.